Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today, feedback video, go through some of the comments, see what's been happening in the comments section, also give you a bit of an update on what's happening around the country at the moment. Fairly quiet today, not much happening, of course. People still getting over their hangovers, recovering from those big Christmas dinners and lunches that people would have had over the last few days. I hope everybody was able to have a good Christmas, was able to celebrate Christmas, regardless of where you are in the world at the moment. Christmas for us this year was a fairly low-key event. Only immediate family and my girlfriend's auntie came over for dinner, and she stayed for lunch yesterday, the 25th. But apart from that, not much happening. Completely different to the Christmas that people were celebrating down there in Australia. I saw my family down there in Perth having Christmas as normal this year. A very hot day yesterday in Perth. The typical Christmas this year for the majority of people down there in Australia. Not too many COVID restrictions going on, at least not as many as there are in this country and other countries around Europe at the moment. Father Christmas managed to find his way here this year. My son was happy about that, got a few presents under the tree, and now of course we're counting down the days to 2021. Now a quick update on the health situation, and as expected, that new strain that was detected last week in the United Kingdom is now in Spain. 4 people apparently have tested positive with that new strain here in Madrid. They travelled down to Spain from the UK for Christmas, started to show symptoms yesterday I think, and bang, today tested positive, and now we have that new strain in Spain. So that just goes to show the risk of travelling at the moment. It doesn't matter whether you have PCR testing set up or not, because I imagine these people in question would have shown a negative PCR test when they arrived in Spain, but obviously not very effective, and now we have the new strain here, which according to all reports is more contagious than previous strains. So January looking to be an interesting month here in Spain. As we know, cases have been rising in recent times. Throw this new strain into the mix and we're going to have an interesting start to 2021. But the good news is that the COVID vaccine has arrived in Spain. I'm sure that this still is good news, even though there is a more contagious new strain about. I'm sure that people are still happy that the vaccination plan is going to start tomorrow. Apparently the trucks carrying the vaccine crossed the border yesterday, spent the night in a place called Lerma in a civil guard headquarters in the Burgos province, and today it is making its way to Guadalajara where it's going to be stored, and the first vaccinations will be given tomorrow. I saw an interview in a paper with the lady who's going to be the first person to get the vaccine here in Spain. She said she's happy, but she's also a little bit nervous to be the first person vaccinated in this country. Now there were a few comments on the last video about one of the topics that we mentioned, transparency. Transparency, according to many people, still a big problem in Spain. Politicians don't like sharing information with the public. There's not a lot of accountability going on either. Governments here in Spain seem to operate in a bubble. They float above the population, doing whatever they want to do. And as I said, there doesn't seem to be a lot of accountability going on, and transparency is a real problem, especially if you compare it to other countries around Europe. As we saw the other day, there is a transparency body here in Spain, a regulator that tries to get the government to be as transparent as possible. It was set up in 2013 after the financial crisis that destroyed the Spanish economy. They came to the conclusion then that one of the big problems with democracy here in Spain was the opaque nature of it, and people thought that by setting up this transparency regulator here in Spain things were going to change, but apparently they're not. Every day you can read stories in the newspaper about just how unwilling the government is to share information. A lot of people are still trying to find the answers to why the government acted the way it did during the pandemic, what some of the reasons were behind their decision making, especially when it came to that de-escalation phase that we went to after the state of alarm back in the months of May, June and July. The Health Minister, Mr. Illa, came out the other day and said that the government was late to react when the pandemic first hit Spain. He said that he's also made various mistakes over the last year or so, and he also said he did the best he could. But anyway, the Prime Minister and a team of experts are going to evaluate the government's first year in power, so we'll see what the results of that evaluation are. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. See you in the next one. Hasta luego.